Today we're talking about all of your questions from Purgatory. I haven't done one of these in a minute, so I have no idea how it's gonna go, but let's give it a go. If you're new here, hi, I am Navya. This is my fangirl diary, and you should absolutely subscribe because it's free, and I am bringing you all the information that you need about the fandom, culture, and conventions. So make sure that you're following to keep up. Let's start with some of your questions. I got so many questions, by the way. Purgatory is a convention in Germany, for those of you who don't know. It's a all supernatural convention. So unlike Comic Cons and fan expos, this is all supernatural all the time. And it happens in Germany twice a year. There's Purgatory and there's Purgatory Halloween. Purgatory just happened back in May, which was my first ever convention. And Purgatory Halloween is set to happen later this year in October. Let's start by talking about some of your questions around getting tickets and how do you get tickets, and oh my god, I'm not getting tickets. So tickets do tend to sell out, and for Purgatory specifically, this is a bit of a risky area because you can have fraudulent tickets floating around, which secondhand tickets, which can seem genuine, especially when all of the actual tickets are sold out from entertainment events or from the vendor. So it might be tempting to go for one of these, especially if it's like a silver ticket or a gold ticket that's being sold at an unbelievable price. So one of the things that I recommend is be absolutely sure and careful. Try to buy from connections of friends or people who you know through certain people. So try to stick to those instead of buying it completely random from someone. One of the biggest questions that I got was how many tickets are of each category. So the most exclusive tickets are the VIP tickets. These are the ones that are the most expensive. They include a lot of stuff, but they are also it's a full vacation. Think of it in terms of that. You're going to have to pay a lot for these tickets. Next up, you have the gold, silver, and premium tickets. So gold and silver, they still have certain things included in them. These can be certain autographs of specific guests. It depends based on what the lineup is like. The other difference between these ticket bands are also where you're seated in the panel halls. So with gold is right after VIP. So you might not be the first row, but you're definitely in the first 5 rows. And then silver comes a little bit behind that. And then you have premium, which is literally just priority seating at that point because it doesn't include anything. You're not paying for anything else other than, being ahead in the hall. The most coveted one is VIP. So you have the least tickets of VIP. Gold, silver, and premium, I think, are almost equal in number. There's not a lot of those tickets, but there are enough that you should get one if you're looking for one. Especially a lot of people also sell these secondhand, so you can also look for those in that category. The biggest category is standard. Now standard also has sections in it, as I said in my original Purgatory video. So standard has section 1, section 2, and those are the ones that get sold out first, and then the other sections kind of remain. So even if you don't get anything else, you should be able to get the standard ones. Then you have the day tickets. So you have the Saturday tickets and the Sunday tickets, which you can also buy them individually. But those are the furthest. So they are the balcony seats. The most tickets in terms of numbers, the most tickets are standard. So that is one thing that you can keep in mind. You can bank on if you ever want a ticket. There's a lot of standard tickets that are going to be floating around. It's really just, standard tickets are really just about, I want to get in the door and I want to be here. The same goes for the day tickets as well, but the day tickets are really more for people who want to be there for a specific day. On the tickets, you can usually not buy tickets at the door. I don't think you're going to find tickets at the door because these things get sold out way in advance. You might be able to get some day tickets closer to time, but I don't think entertainment events just allows you to walk in and buy a ticket. So there is a ticket shop, but that's usually just for photos and autos. If there's anything left over, then you're going to be able to buy them there, but you're not going to be able to buy tickets. How does ticketing work? So Purgatory has a bit of a weird system when it comes to ticketing. You have to have your Eventbrite ticket, so you buy your ticket on Eventbrite, and then you take your digital ticket all the way to the registration desk. When you register, they will give you the lanyard with your little name on it, and that says your section whatever, whether you're premium, gold, whatever. It'll say that on your on your lanyard, on your little ID on your lanyard, and then you'll get a bunch of tickets for photographs and autographs. So typically these are little cards that you then hand in, and you get the photograph and the you're then able to enter the room for the photograph and the autograph. For special events like Drinks with Misha or Witching Hour with Ruth, I'm not sure if it works for meet and greets as well, but for like the real special events like dinners and drinks and things like that, you usually don't get one of those cards. You just kind of just go there, you show your ticket, and they let you into the door. I'm not sure why they do it like that, but I think it makes sense because one of the things that happened this year was there was one singular silver ticket that was resold multiple times. And I guess if you just have the Eventbrite ticket, multiple people can have copies of the same ticket. And that could lead to resale problems. So they have you sign in, get your, like, exchange your Eventbrite ticket for your lanyard and your actual, like, ticket that you wear around your neck, like, the entire con, so that they can avoid this. But then it's just like a game of like first come first serve, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not entirely on board with this system of ticketing because Purgatory is also a little bit antiquated. Like their systems aren't the most efficient, but I do think that this is one of the reasons why it isn't, like why the lines were so long, because everyone has to sign in and everyone has to register, and most people are doing it like one day before the con or on the day off. So that's also why you shouldn't probably wait to get like a day ticket, because yeah, I mean, like, wait on the day to get a ticket because you can't get a day ticket at the door anyway, because you probably also have to then go and register. So having everything done in advance, having your ticket with you before you come to the con is like the best solution, because the lines are going to be super long. Oh, speaking of really long lines and registration and all of that stuff, when exactly do you need to arrive on the day? So, well, the programming starts around 9 a.m. usually on the first day, which is the Saturday. And if you want to make it for the opening ceremony, your best bet is to register the night before, because otherwise you're registering on the day off, and I think the registration desk only opens like an hour before the programming starts. So you're definitely going to miss like the opening ceremony and stuff if you try to register on the day, because the lines are super long, as I've said multiple times before. What's the venue like? So it's Maritime Hotel in Dusseldorf. It's right next to the airport. There's an aero bridge. You can walk out, literally you can walk out from the Maritime to the airport. So it's not the best venue. I mean, the venue itself, like the hotel itself is great, but if you're thinking about things like where can I eat and like are there stores around, can I go out, like those are all things like, yeah, the only thing you can do is go to the airport. So, but luckily there is a supermarket at the airport, so that's a good thing, but it's all like airport prices. So kind of keep that in mind while you're doing your packing and planning. I had some snacks on me, but I also did go to the airport and go to some restaurants for like lunch, and for like an in-between thing. So yeah, just kind of keep that in mind when you're doing your planning. Otherwise, the venue is really nice. Like, it's a nice hotel. I didn't personally drive there, but if you're taking the public transport, you can take it to the airport and then just walk from the aero bridge. It doesn't take long at all. So if you're staying like in Dusseldorf, in the city, it's not actually really hard to get to the venue. One of the weird questions that I got asked was about the panels, and specifically the VIP panel, and I kind of wanted to clarify this and get ahead of it. So you don't need to pay for the panels. That's part of your ticket. So that's part of your standard ticket. You don't need to pay for the panels. The only thing that you can add on is the VIP panel, because the VIP panel is usually this time it was with Jensen and Jared, but it's usually, it's going to be with Jensen and Jared. And that's a panel that's specifically for the VIP ticket, but what they do is they just kind of like let anyone buy it. So if you have a VIP ticket, you don't have to buy this panel. This panel is included for you, but everybody else has to buy a ticket if they want to attend this panel. The assumption is that because it's a VIP ticket and because you have to buy the panel separately, it's probably gonna be cheaper. I think there were two VIP panels if I recall correctly, but the one that I got was for Jensen and Jared, but I might be wrong on this. But yeah, again, it depends on the lineup, and it depends on like I do think there was another one with maybe Jensen and Sam, I can't remember, but there was definitely the one that I went to was Jensen and Jared, and that was definitely a VIP panel. And so the idea is that if they give you if the panel is like not included, it's a VIP panel and you have to buy it separately, not everyone's going to buy it, and that's kind of true, but it's also Jensen and Jared, so most people do end up buying it anyway, so it's kind of a full house in that sense, but sometimes people tend to like opt that one out. TLDR, the VIP panel is the only panel that you have to actually pay for if you don't have a VIP ticket. Okay, let's go on to merch. Okay, so one of the big questions was, is there radio company merch? There isn't. I am sorry. I was really disappointed in the vendors room as a whole, because while there were like certain like good artists there, like maybe one in the entire room, I thought the room itself was like very sparse. Most of the vendors were selling mystery bags, so it was mostly that. There were some basic ones where you could get some t-shirts and things like that. Again, nothing inherently special. So yeah, that's my take is, if you spend enough time and you find something that's worth buying, you should buy it, but I wouldn't really depend on the vendor's room as a place to like get your coolest merch. Sorry. And the last question that I want to talk about was a really interesting one, which is that how did I connect with people? So yes, people did come up to me because they've seen my content. I also had friends that I met earlier during the fan meetup, which was really nice to connect with them. They had friends that they introduced me to, so I met more people through and through that. Mostly I just hung around with like people I knew, to be completely honest with you. But I did meet people in like queues and stuff like that. Just go up and talk to people. There's no like official platform or place to really connect with people. But if you're just like out and about, if you're sitting in the lobby, if you're, sitting in the panel room, talk to the people next to you. If you're standing in queues, talk to the people ahead of you, talk to the people behind you, comment on someone's pose, ask, there's like just, I feel like conventions are just the kind of place where there's like an inbuilt sort of connection space, if that makes sense, because you can just ask questions about like what people are going to do during their ops, or what are some of the extras that they've gotten. Like there are these like basic questions that you can just ask anybody, and that'll like start a conversation. So I had a really good time, and like I connected with people. I learned about people's ops. Some people had some really phenomenal cosplay, and I just complimented them on it and started a conversation that way. So it's really easy to find people to talk to when you're like waiting around, and like everyone's waiting around anyway. You might as well start a conversation and have some fun. So and generally people are really friendly. One of the things that I do notice is that in general, compared to American conventions and Purgatory, is the language barrier. So keep in mind that this is still Germany, and there's still Germans here, and that might not necessarily be the best and the most inviting circumstances for internationals if you're traveling to Purgatory to be at Purgatory. But you're still going to find people who are non-Germans, because Purgatory is like one of the big three ones that, as I said, happens in Europe. So you're going to find a lot of Europeans coming in, and talk to them. There's going to be people who are going to be speaking in English. So if you find someone who's speaking in English, go up to them and just start a conversation. There are going to be people who are not going to be speaking in English. That is going to happen. I don't want to like send someone in with like unfair assumptions and expectations. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to be speaking not English. I'm not saying German specifically, but it's Europe. The idea of like finding people from your country is very exciting to a lot of people. So just bear that in mind. But most people tend to switch to English as soon as you start talking to them. So don't let that deter you. Go and find your people. Okay, that's all for me. That's all of my questions that I got from you lot. If there are more questions, comment below. I'm going to try to answer them. If I get even more questions, I might even do a part 2. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for liking, sharing, and clicking that bell. I'll see you next time.